Hey, welcome to Bluejay Banter, live on our YouTube channel. Thanks for finding us. As always, share, like, and most definitely hit that subscribe button to help us out. Welcome to the show. We got a huge jam-packed show right off the top. Kirsten Bernthal Booth, head volleyball coach at Creighton University, will join us. Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Congrats on the title.
Thank you.
What a match, huh?
It was a fun weekend. I thought we played well and gives us some good momentum, hopefully going into the tournament.
Well, I thought there was an interesting comment during the telecast. The Marquette coach, they asked him, is Creighton in kind of in your head, or do you think a lot about it? He said, no, I embrace it. We're so happy to have Creighton in our conference and to have us a challenge. But I thought of that reverse. I think you are most thankful to have Marquette in the conference to have that kind of a challenge.
Absolutely. And, Marquette this year is the best Marquette team that we've faced since we've been in the Big East. And they are really, really a good team. And that was a great challenge, even if we'd lost. I mean, at least it wasn't a go home situation for either team. Obviously, I'm thrilled that we won, but it was a great warm up to go into the NCAA tournament to play a high level team. And, I said last year, Marquette was good last year, but wasn't as strong as they are this year. And, we swept them, which is great too. But I really liked that we had to really fight and grind and show some grittiness to get that win.
Yeah, it was grittiness on both teams. It was a tremendous
Mhm.
match. Before I get to the topic A, I just thought of something today. I've never asked this of a Creighton coach before,
Uh-oh, it's making me
but
nervous.
no, I think you're gonna really dig this. But volleyball term, there we go. Uh, they're making a coaching change in Nebraska, and I saw this about an hour or two ago that they got rid of the strength and conditioning coach and nutrition coach, and then and then you think about any sport, you can kind of see, especially with us at the rival site, we follow recruiting, and yeah, you see the kids in prep, and then you see them and they go to the Division 1 level, and you're like, oh wow, those kids on Team X are really much stronger and physically bigger than they were last year versus this team. You're like, oh well, they must have, you can actually see that, you can see it in the play. I got to thinking about nutrition. Like, I think back to a few years ago. There was a Hard Knocks series on HBO about the NFL, and one team was on there, and this player had a horrible practice, and the coach was ticked off, and he's screaming and yelling, doesn't want to be 500 anymore. And he said, "What did you have for breakfast?" And the guy goes, he hardly had like a piece of toast. And he's like, "This is the stuff that we talk about winning football." And so I got to thinking, do you, how much, if a player has, say, 2, 3 bad games in a row, we think, oh, something going on in their personal life, is there something, academically, family, whatever. We never probably ever think about nutrition. Do you look at that? Is that something you guys look at to say, wow, you know, that person wasn't able to eat the way they probably could have? And I'm sure over your 20 years here, this is nutrition thing has changed a ton.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. We have a dietitian that works with our athletes. So it's a couple different things. So they work with the team as a whole. So it might be we've had different things over different years. So it might be that they go to the dorms cafeteria and kind of help them to know what would be good choices here. We've sent a bunch of menus to places that we go to eat a lot. Like we might do a lot of pregame meals at Panera. What are good choices? Then holistically, like white sauce versus red sauce if you're at a pasta place, like those, lemonade has almost as much sugar as a soda has, so understanding that. Hydration. The other thing that we talk about is that, if you're not fueling yourself properly and at the right times, if you're getting tired at 2 p.m. every day right before practice, well, it could be a variety of factors. Like you said, it could be not getting enough sleep, it could be stress in life, but whether you're eating properly could be part of that. So I always say I always say this in the recruiting process, that we have the resources. I'm not the type of coach that's going to show up at your door and go through your refrigerator, or I'm not the type of coach that if we say our curfew's at 10 p.m., I'm going to trust that we're going to be in at 10 p.m. because I want to have young women on our team that want to be great, not that I have to fear factor them into being great. But nutrition is in that spectrum of we're going to give you the resources. We do pay attention to what they order on the road. But we'll also have dessert. It's just all about moderation, in my opinion. As everyone in the country is aware, we have ice cream. So, but we just want to educate them. And these are life skills, right? Like we all want to be able to manage and eat food we love, but do it the right way so that, we're healthy long term.
Is the testing advanced enough where you can, I mean, do they drill down enough to know that maybe somebody's performance rose a level because of their eating, on your team? Have you noticed that through the course of a
Well,
season or
I mean,
something?
I think of a player like Marissa Wilkinson. I'm going back for a while. She was part of our Elite Eight team. She transformed her body during her time at Creighton, and part of that was her work with Brad Schmidt in strength and conditioning. He's phenomenal. But she locked into her nutrition. She loved fried food, and so she pulled back, and her body. I don't even know if her body weight changed all that much, but her composition changed, and her vertical, and I'm not exaggerating, went up 7 inches. I mean, imagine that. Like that's a whole different player at from where she came out of high school. So, so we don't like put them onto like electrodes or anything that we're doing that. But, I think we can track body comps and things like that. There's a balance with this. I don't ever get their weights. That's something that the strength coach deals with. And, we're very cognizant, a lot of young women can be triggered with eating disorders with that stuff. So you want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's healthy and productive, not going to have them go the wrong direction.
All right. Well, we'll get together later. You need to send me some recipes because I might need some.
Oh,
Nora says, two-time Big East tourney MVP of the league. She's gonna go down as one of the greats, isn't she?
I hope so. I mean, she's trending that way for sure. I mean, even if her career ended now, I think she'd be in that mix for sure. So, yeah, Nora's playing great. She's improved from last year. I can't say enough good things about her as a woman. Yeah, she's a joy to coach, and I think her teammates would say she's a joy to have as a teammate.
NCAA tourney. In your experience, and maybe this is hard to answer, but in your experience, is it when it comes to coaching acumen, is it more preparation or in-game adjustment that leads to more success?
It's a good question. I really think preparation is important, especially because we're playing, two of these three teams we've never seen in Creighton volleyball. Well, I shouldn't say Creighton volleyball history, at least the history that I've been a part of at Creighton volleyball. I don't think maybe we've played Auburn. I don't remember if it was a long
Seems like
time
we
ago.
have. Auburn seems to stick in my mind somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know we have. I'm pretty confident we haven't played Houston, and obviously we're familiar with South Dakota. So, especially these teams that we don't have any familiarity with, I think preparation is very important. But the difference is when you're playing league schools, or even like a lot of the non-conference teams we play. We played Kentucky 8 years in a row, USC 8 years in a row. We played Northern Iowa. Some of those teams we see a lot. So I know what coaches they like. I mean, I'm sure just as they would know things that Creighton does because the same coach has been here for so long. A lot of those programs, I have an idea of what their coaches like to do. So you have some ideas coming in. But in these cases, for two of these three schools, I don't know anything. So it is a clean slate. So the adjustment portion is going to be important. And actually, we were doing some scouting today and we said, hey, this is where we think we're going to start with these things. But we got to see it live. I mean, you can only see so much on video. So I think in-game adjustments are going to be important this weekend.
Well, you mentioned coaching. Brian Crouch moved from USC to Auburn. USC you've played throughout the years, obviously. First, I guess, as a not a volleyball expert, that seems like a strange move.
I think Brent
Not
did.
strange. That's a bad word to use, but we all think of USC,
Yeah.
UCL as volleyball powers, and we don't think much about the SEC, really.
Well, Brent did a great job at Portland State and then got the USC job. And I think a lot of people were surprised by that hire. But he did a good job at USC and I think walked into some challenges there and I have not been told this from his mouth, just for clarification. But I think there was some tough things going on at USC, and as far as I'm concerned, his decision to go to Auburn was strictly his decision. So I don't think it was an issue that USC wanted him out. I don't know that, but I sure have not heard any rumors of that. I think it was a lifestyle, and credit to him. I mean, they're in year 3. Auburn has typically been I guess I shouldn't say that. They did do some good things with Rick. Rick Nold Pryor had some up. They trended up at different times, but they're a freshman laden team, and making the NCAA tournament. I think we're gonna all have to keep an eye on Auburn over the next few years.
Do you see some similarities what they do in Auburn, what they did at USC?
Um, well, he's a gold medal square guy, which is a type of training. So there's some similarities there. The athletes are so different, though. I mean, the athletes at USC, I will say he clearly likes big athletes. They are a very tall team, 6'6" and 6'4", I think, in the middle, 6 foot plus every place else. So every coach has tendencies of the type of athletes they like to recruit, and it seems that Brent thinks, he's going to be able to do some great things with tall athletes. And I think it's working. I mean, they are a really good blocking team. And again, they're dancing.
Yeah. So for instance, let's just compare to that basketball, team is bigger than you. You go to different types of offense and defense to offset the size. What do you do in volleyball when you just have a big team? Is there a different system you like to run against a big team?
I wouldn't say it's a different system, but there's different things that you try to create. But I'm not going to go into it too much right now.
No, I don't want you. No, I don't mean this game specifically. I mean in general.
Well, I think some of it is you try to simulate it in practice so your hitters are ready. And so I think that's the big thing is, having them prepared. You have to hit it on a different trajectory. You're
Sure.
not going to be able to, if you're going after hands, the hands are in a different place than maybe the match prior. So, and that can cause problems with little blockers too. If you have a 5'7", I mean, Taryn Clothry ran into this a lot. She was 6'4", and if she went up against a small blocker, it was hard for her to go after hands because she had to hit down so much. So, there's different challenges for different types of blockers.
Yeah. And just like any other sport, taller
Yep.
and bigger doesn't mean better. So, yeah. Um, wow. So I know you don't like these types of things, but you're stacking some records here. I mean, you are. You're stacking. They're just starting to stack up. You have 441 victories.
That's the old age. It's an age thing.
No, you can't say that. Dana Altman said that when he hit 750 or something. Then he said, just because I'm old. So you got a long way to go there. 441, 11 NCAA tournaments in a row, 12 different teams. 3-time coach of the year. Do you ever what if I'd have rattled that off 20 years ago to you?
Oh, well, you have to realize when I took the job 20 years ago, my ultimate goal for the program was to make the NCAA tournament. So obviously we've had to reevaluate our goals after achieving that in 2010. But, I just feel really grateful. I mean, it's been, I've just really enjoyed my time at Creighton, and I've gotten to work with just so many amazing women. And, we had the team that won our first conference championship in 2012 came back because Megan Bober was inducted to the Hall of Fame, and we honored them that weekend at a game. And man, they're just thriving in life. And, that's what I love is watching, these people come in as 18-year-olds and figuring things out and being homesick to going and, doing amazing things, either professionally, family wise. And we've got a pretty good track record of some amazing alums.
It's funny you mentioned that. I just saw Real Sports the other night where Tom Izzo had a walk-on on his team many years ago. The guy is now runs the biggest mortgage company in the United States and is worth like $1 billion, and he donates money to Michigan State.
I don't have that alum yet.
But I mean, it's amazing how, I'm sure to him, that he's probably more of a success story than the guys that made the NBA. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
amazing because you just don't know. So what about the rest of the field in this
Like the
quad?
whole the in our quad.
In this pod, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think the South Dakota match will be a great match. I know South Dakota a little bit just because we played them in the exhibition and we've played them a bunch, and their coach is a good friend. Their coaches are actually good friends. I'm good friends with one of the assistants too. Are led by Junkie's her last name. I think it's Elizabeth, but I could be wrong on that. She's a fifth year. She's a stud. She carries load. And she's going to be an important cog that she has a great night against Houston. And then they've got some really good pieces around her. And then Houston, I've only watched a little bit. One of my assistants has watched more. But they've got an outside that is statistically really, really good, averaging like 3.8 kills a game, I think, and hitting at a pretty high clip. She looks good on film. And then they've got a right side that's got really insane numbers also, and then a lot of good pieces around them. I know they seem really disciplined. They swing out a system. They run a 6-2. I think 3 of the 4 teams, including us and Auburn, run a 5-1, so a one-setter system. Houston's running a 6-2, so a two-setter system. So they'll have 3 hitters in the front all the time.
You were going to mention it. So overall, you're drawing the region. What do you think? I know you don't like get too far ahead, but
yeah, I think it's, everyone's good at this point. So, I will say there was a team or two that we said, gosh, I hope they don't get sent to Omaha. And we didn't get either of those teams. So that's good. But we knew there was probably 6, 7, 8 teams that would be sent here in that 2 slot. And then for the 3 and 4 slot, we really didn't have an idea. I thought we may see South Dakota or Northern Iowa just because of the proximity. But other than that, we didn't have any idea. But, as we told the team, everyone's good at this point. I think any of the 4 teams can come out, but we're excited.
So I heard you're going to treat this like a road game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll have, we're going to go to a hotel after practice on Thursday, spend the night, and then, we'll come back to campus. We're staying, I mean, there's a million hotels close to campus, as you're well aware. So we're staying close to campus, and we'll practice and, kind of do, just be together and really have us locked in. It's hard because our players are so academically focused. So I know some of them are like, what? I can't go to class on Friday.
Yeah.
But really, we have practice, on a real home weekend. We don't practice during the day. They just go to class. But for NCAA tournament, we have practice right in the middle of the day, late morning. So they really wouldn't be able to go to class just because of that.
Yeah. Well, you got smart kids anyway. They'll be fine.
And actually, a lot of them don't have Friday class. They're just missing class on Friday, which if we'd be on the road, we would be leaving tomorrow. So
Right.
they're in pretty good shape.
And you can maybe, bend that curfew a little bit so I could study an extra half hour or something.
Yeah. I'm flexible on the study thing.
Coach, you're the best. Thanks so much. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me on. It's good to see you guys.
Yep. Congrats. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. That's head volleyball coach Kirsten Bernthal Booth here on Bluejay Banter. Man, she's just, I say it every time she's on, but she's just the best. It's just the best. All right. Well, another welcome to the show. Thanks for finding us again. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button down there. I want to thank our wonderful sponsors. You're seeing scroll down the bottom of the screen. Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. They're proudly serving Nebraska since 1882. They got 2 great area locations on 204th and Elkhorn, and then just north of the TD Ameritrade headquarters. They want to be your personal banker. Let them take the headaches banking away from you. Some great features, and they do answer the phone on the first ring. I can attest to that. They're the bank of Bluejay Banter, so check them out. That's Equitable Bank. They do take banking personally. And then also West Pacific Dental Group. They're my dentist, Dr. Robert Hogan. The personalized staff provide you with great dental care, and we'll get you back on track very quickly. They look out not only your dental health, your whole health, and they'll have a plan that's fit just totally for you. So give Dr. Robert Hogan a call at 402-697-0765 and tell them that Bluejay Banter sent you. Dr. Hogan, a big Jays fan. And then, last but not least, definitely, Infusion Brewery. I've been a little under the weather lately, so I haven't partaken that many of my infusion stock that I have here. But I'm going to try an interesting one tonight. Squatcho. Now we just saw Daniel Baccio play for Texas Tech, a guy Creighton recruited, who's turned out to be a
Very good
stud.
player. Very good player.
But this is the Mexican lager. I enjoy Mexican cervezas, so let's crack this big boy open. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's very good. That is very good. Wow, that's really great. It's got a like a nice bite to it, but it has a very soft aftertaste. Very soft. Yes, very good.
As opposed to like when you drink a Corona and it just lingers there for a while.
Yeah, or if you get a stout, or something
Mhm.
that's really heavy and strong, because this isn't a heavy beer at all.
Yeah.
Very good. I really like it. But Infusion has tons of great beers, and we've treated you to some here during our show. We hope you go out and support them.
I think that's like the sixth one now.
What's that?
I think that's like the sixth one we've had on here. So
Yeah.
you got options.
Hopefully Thursday we can crack a Let It Fly, their product as well, after a Creighton victory. So, yeah, check out Infusion Brewery, and more to come with Infusion with Bluejay Banter as well. Okay. Thank you, Coach Booth.
Mhm.
All right. Soccer. We want to talk about men's soccer. All right. 1 minute here. All right. Soccer team. 2-1 winners over Tulsa. They just keep rolling. We're going to have Johnny on tonight, but he was unavailable. So we're going to have him. Hopefully, I have him on next week, win or lose. But we hope next week they're on their way to the College Cup. That would be outstanding.
I think
Jays play Saturday at noon. Play the Duke Blue Devils, North Carolina. So hopefully the weather will be okay. It'll be freezing cold, like it would be here if they were playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything on like TV, or I'm sure on Creighton Sports you can pick up all the games there. So I would just go to gocreighton.com and you can pick up the game there. And I'm sure there's a lot of hot soccer hangouts. They seem to be going on today. A lot of people skipped work, I noticed, and went and watched USA win 1-0 to advance. And I got to tell you, are you a big soccer fan?
I was when I was younger. In high school, I worked at Adidas, so by proxy, I paid attention to a lot of soccer. When I lived in Portland, I went to some Timbers games, but I'm admittedly not too into it now.
I did not know you lived in Portland, Zach.
I did for a year, yep.
Did you know my wife is from Oregon?
I did not.
She's just like 60 miles west of Portland.
Nice.
Yes, I've spent some time in that country. I'm not a soccer fan at all. And if you told me 30 years ago that the interest in soccer would be what it is, even though some people think it's way down, the interest in soccer would be what it is, I'd been blown away. I couldn't believe it, but I mean, it really has grown. And obviously the U.S. team, I still don't get all the things that go on in soccer, but I don't get why offside's called sometimes and not called other times.
It's a weird, without like, so it all depends on where the player is when the ball is kicked. Like, if he's way faster than the defender, he can be right next to him, the ball get kicked, and he'll end up, 20 yards in front of him.
Right.
But, yeah, I think, it's the same as any other sport.
Let's put that way.
Yeah, the same as any other sport, right? Where it's like football. There's holding on every play. Doesn't get called every play, but somebody's getting held.
Yeah, there looks like it could be a penalty a lot of times today. There look like it could be a penalty in every play in soccer, too.
I mean, to be fair, they're pretty good actors.
Oh, yeah, you have to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, soccer team, this is just a tremendous run by Johnny's team. This is outstanding. So interesting, Creighton, the leading goal scorer in the country, and Duke has given up 8 goals all year. So something's got to give, as they say.
Yeah.
So it'll be an interesting contrast of styles and matchup there in Durham. And great season. Good luck to the Jays on Saturday.
Was the last time they were in the College Cup? Was that 2012? Let's see. I can look it up really quick.
It was when Elmer was here, I believe. And I believe the College Cup was in North Carolina that year, if I remember correctly. I want to say they played it like at a.
It was 2012. It was 2012.
Nice job.
Well, it
I
was
want
my
to say
freshman year of high school.
I want to say they played it at a converted like minor league baseball stadium or something. Was the place where they played.
I'll find it.
It was in North Carolina, I want to say, but I could be wrong. Or Georgia, one of those two. But anyway, gotta be awesome if they made it, because that they give great coverage to on a national stage. So
Yeah.
okay, let's move on to a men's basketball. It seems like forever since they played, and it's been what, 6 days?
Yeah.
So the Jays won't take the court until Thursday. By the way, Ross not with us tonight. I think he's packing. He's headed down to Austin. He'll be there. He doesn't know if he'll be able to join us on our instant reaction show, but he's certainly going to. I'm going to feed him a bunch of questions. I want to know about the new arena. Want to know the atmosphere. Want to know, a lot of things like that. So it's always cool to have somebody on site that we can talk to. And I think you're fortunate here to follow us here and also on BluejayBanter.com, because I was in Maui, Ross will be in Austin, I'll be in Vegas. So we'll have these first bunch of road games all covered for you. We talked a lot about the Maui tournament when we were going through the predictions of the season. And I think, I said, gee, don't be surprised if we're 1-2. And we came away 2-1. I think, who doesn't want to win the thing, right? But coming away 2-1, I think was probably as good an outcome as you could hope for.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the gamut that we had to face, you can say all you want about the gamut that, say, Arizona faced, where they got to play a easier opponent in Cincinnati, and then maybe an easier second round game, although that you could flip a coin on. But easier second round game was San Diego State. I think they made San Diego State maybe not look as good as they are. And then to play us, where we had to play a full 40 minutes both games. They got to have a little blow there in both games. So I think Arizona, though, is like a bad matchup for us. You know what I mean?
They're big and they can run.
I think teams that have that big four are going to cause us some problems. Now, conversely, with Texas, they're more athletic than Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Arizona wasn't athletic, but they're more athletic than Arizona. But we actually have a size advantage on them. Maybe not an advantage, but we're not at a disadvantage. I mean, their forwards go 6'7", 6'6". Their three guards go 6'7", 6'5", 6'4", right in there with us.
Yep.
So I think from that perspective, I think this is a better size matchup. I'm just, everybody's curious, but I am too. When Christian Bishop gets in the game against, say, now he's been playing a lot of 4, though, I think.
I admittedly haven't seen any.
Yeah, he's been playing some 4 or 5, because their leading rebounder is a kid, Dylan Mitchell. Mm-hmm. He's a 6'8" freshman. So, Bishop's only playing 17 minutes a game.
Yeah, 4 points a game. I did see that.
Yeah. He's averaging 2 rebounds a game, which is not him. He does have 7 blocks. So he's second on the team in block shots. So he still has that part of his game. Mm-hmm. It will be interesting if he goes against Kalk.
Yeah.
Or King, or Fred King for that matter.
Yeah, either
King,
one.
I would like to see that, actually.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Well, I think that also just kind of speaks volumes to how much Mac gets out of guys and how good he is at putting them in situations where they can succeed. When you get, an undersized big guy in Bishop, where Mac is, running the perfect plays for him to set screens and roll, and he's getting wide open dunks all the time. He looks good. And not to say he isn't a talented player, but that's just not the same situation that he's in at Texas.
By the way, I want to interrupt a second.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you want to join us, by all means, let us know. Yeah, you can get to our email, which is our email for our post-game show, bjbinstantreaction@gmail.com. So you can just shoot us an email. We'll send you the link, and you can join and ask questions and join in the discussion if you'd like. I think a big key to this game is going to be point guard. Marcus Carr is a guy who I was really because I'm a Minnesota native, I was a little sad that he left Minnesota. He blew me away when he was there. Now he's played, I would say, more inconsistently here at Texas, but he's still a star, a second leading scorer, averaging almost 15 a game. I think that's a key matchup for us. Whoever we have out there, whether it be R2 or Reef, we've got to do a decent job on him and slowing him down and making him work on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And obviously Beard brings some of that defense he had at Texas Tech, even though Mark Adams was the defensive guy. He's still bringing that defense. And I think that's going to be a key to us. And then, man, Texas is just transfer you.
Yeah.
And what I don't understand about the Big 12 is everybody transfers within the conference.
Do they really?
It's like, I kind of like the fact that the Big East doesn't allow that. I kind of like that because it just.
Well, weren't there a couple this year?
Yeah, like Tyrese Hunter was at Iowa State. Now
I meant in the Big East. I feel like there was one this year. I could be completely wrong. I don't remember. There's so many transfers every year.
Maybe they changed the rules. I don't know, but I was pretty sure you could not transfer within.
Yeah. I could very well be misremembering as well.
But I think it had to go. You may be able to go around about, you know what I mean? Like Georgetown to Clemson and then back to St. John's or something. Yeah, that's something we should look into. But Tyrese Hunter is another guy.
Yeah.
And then
he's the leading scorer right now.
Yeah, the leading scorer. And then another key guy on their team, Timmy Allen, transferred from Utah.
Yep. Yeah.
So, man, without the transfer portal, this would be a shock 'em up win. It's interesting. I looked at this. They have 3 seniors. They have 3 graduate students. They have 1 sophomore. All the rest are freshmen.
Wow.
Quite an interesting roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. Well, even I think Creighton's roster right now is in an interesting spot as well, where there's 2 seniors on the roster, but you could have 5 guys leaving the team after this season, potentially.
Sure. I think the keys for Creighton, I mentioned Reef. We've got to start to get a little more out of Reef. He just hasn't seemed to found his groove yet. And I think we've got to get him going, especially on the defensive end. This would be a great game for him to do that with a Marcus Carr type player out there. We've got to get Arthur to play within himself. He's trying to do too much out there. He's just trying to do way too much. And to kind of go with that, a coach is in a delicate balance here. He's got to want to keep giving Arthur confidence and play him.
Yep.
Same token, gosh, I think we got to get Mason on the floor more.
He has looked really, really good, especially in Maui. He looked great, just spacing the floor, getting after it on the boards, and that's another thing about this team though is you want to get more minutes for one guy. Well, who are those minutes coming from?
Yeah. You think about and I was thinking, well, what could we do there? Well, we really can't go. I mean, you can't go push one of those to the 3 really, because that wouldn't be a problem on defense because we could flip-flop on defense. But then what are you going to do? Play Baylor at the 2? I mean, you can't. Yeah. I guess you could do it at times where you rest Baylor, say Mason at the 4, Kaluma at the 3, or vice versa, and then go with your regular lineup of Trey and R2.
Or even, I think most likely scenario is King and Kalkbrenner are both in foul trouble. You go small.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which would be.
But we don't want that.
Yeah, no. But that would probably be the most likely scenario in which, you get those two on the floor at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be what we'd have to do, because we could still put out Trey's a great rebounder for his size.
Yeah.
Still put out a decent rebounding team. Baylor's a top rebounder, and then against a lot of teams. Wow, what speaking of bigger picture, what a meteoric rise UConn has had here.
Yeah, I did see that. And speaking of UConn, actually, we did get one comment. Two guys did transfer within the Big East this year. One from DePaul to St. John's and one from UConn to Providence.
Huh.
I cannot remember the names. The DePaul one was the one I was thinking of. But I, for the life of me, cannot remember the names.
Because, and see, I don't know if that was a transfer deal, but I remember there was a recruit. This was a few years ago. And I know the Big East does not allow you, if somebody decommits, or I don't know what the rule was, but we couldn't go after that guy, even though he wanted to come to Creighton, and he was I forget who it was, but he was a stud.
Yeah, I remember that as well.
Yeah, so there was some rule with that.
Was it Tremont Waters?
You just don't see very much in the Big East, though. You don't see guys transferring.
Tremont Waters? Is that who that was?
Yeah, could have been. Yeah, but you don't see that. You see that a ton in the Big 12 for whatever reason.
And I do have it who it was from DePaul to St. John's. It was David Jones. David Jones from DePaul to St. John's.
Yeah. St. John's off to a great start. They haven't really played anybody, but they're off to a great start.
They won the game against Syracuse. That's big for people who live in New York.
Syracuse is pretty meh. Yeah, UConn, the Big East right now. Some people have them ranked in their personal polls, have them ranked ahead of Creighton. So,
did you see the voters, the votes between Creighton and UConn? I think it was like Creighton had 1,100 AP votes and UConn had 1,099.
It's interesting because if they met on a neutral floor today, there's not a person in the world who wouldn't say Creighton was a favorite.
Yeah, agreed.
Xavier had a chance to really shine as well. They played well and made a mark for themselves. So those three teams, I think, have kind of risen to the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could put St. John's hanging below, but St. John's hasn't played the quality of teams that the other three have.
Nova, the wheels have just kind of fallen off.
What?
The wheels have just kind of fallen off for Nova.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah, I was going to mention them next. They've gone to the bottom of the pack.
Yep.
They've got injuries, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Justin Moore's still out.
New coach. What's that?
Justin Moore's still out, right?
Yep. They've had injuries, and I think they've got another, if I'm not mistaken, they've got another big game coming up here soon. They've got somebody, I think they have a national game coming up, if I'm not mistaken, that, I think they're 2-5 right now.
Yeah, something crazy.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thunk that?
You could have told me that they hired Doc Sadler as their head coach, and I would have thought they would be 6-1 right now.
Yeah,
regardless, it's Villanova. That's true.
They got. That's who it is. They play Oklahoma, and that's not it's a home game. It looks like, but it's not. No, that's not a cupcake.
No, not at all.
Losing to Oregon, though, Oregon's really shorthanded right now. They're shorthanded as Villanova. But I watched a full game. Who did they play? Somebody in that Portland tournament, and the Phil Knight event. And they had one player, and that's about it. So,
got a lot of Creighton connections in this conversation right now. You got Porter Moser at Oklahoma, Dana Altman at Oregon. How many times does Villanova want to play Creighton a year?
don't know. I was gonna say Cole Swider, but I guess he's long gone from
Oh,
Villanova. Former recruit.
where did he end up at Syracuse? Isn't that where he ended up? Yep.
Yeah. Wow, what a comeback by Clemson. Penn State was laying the wood to him early. Clemson, big comeback. By the way, so just to throw this out on a personal note, my bracket will be posted tomorrow on Stadium, so you'll get to see where the Jays are. I'll give you a early tease here. They're going to be on the 2 line. Okay. Now we're going to get Des Moines. Now here's the thing. These are things that fascinate me about bracketology, because when you start thinking, oh well, because all on fans are, oh, this is awesome, great team. We have Des Moines and then Kansas City. Drive, right? Here's the bad part. You have a regional in Kansas City, okay? Well, guess who all else closest place to go is Kansas City? Kansas?
Yep.
Baylor? Houston? Iowa State? Potentially.
Yeah.
Okay? There's 4 right there. Okay? So, yeah. You better hope you're at the top end of the pecking board, where whatever seed line you're at to get that Kansas City. And you better hope there's not teams above you who take that side up, because, you're going to have, as long as you're, well, it just depends on, I guess, how, what region you get put in, where you got to go. Because if there's other Big East teams in there, or you have a common opponent or something, there could be all kinds of reasons why you can get moved.
Yep.
I believe in my bracket, I have us in Des Moines. That's fairly safe, because there's actually, I think Denver is actually closer for Baylor to go to.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Than Des Moines is, and so is like Texas, and Birmingham's closer for Houston and things like that.
Yep.
So Des Moines is pretty wide open. There's not anybody around us who's really that good that's going to be up in that range.
It's kind of crazy that they have it in both Des Moines and Kansas City.
Yeah,
that's very, very close.
That's an awesome setup for us.
Yeah.
But, so we should be able to get Des Moines. I think in my bracket, and I may have to move it around because, dumb me, I thought, oh, this would be a great night to do it because there's not a lot going on. And then I looked and said, oh my God, I have a number 1 seed Virginia playing a team I have down the seed line a little bit because of their loss and their weak schedule so far in Michigan. But what happens if Michigan beats them? They've got to flip things all around. So, but
that's why it's early bracketology, right? That's why it's early. That's why you put the early there, the qualifier.
But I have Creighton going to New York City, which would still, I think, be okay with fans. Number 1, number 2, You can, you can't talk about the court because obviously the NCAA has their own court and their own backboards and their own rims and everything. But I think there's a lot to be said about familiarity when you go to these places.
Yeah, absolutely.
Creighton knows, okay, hey, we stayed in this hotel. Takes us, 10 minutes to get to the arena. Oh, we'll get off the bus. We know we got to go in the freight elevator and go up to the 3rd floor and go off. And,
yeah, athletes are notoriously creatures of habit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do think there is something to that. I think there is something to, Krzyzewski used to do that. He used to go out and play. Say there was a game, say Louisville had a regional site. He'd schedule a game with, it's in the ACC, so okay, it's a bad example, but he'd schedule a game, to go play at that site. He'd schedule neutral games at the United Center, for instance, when he knew that was one of the sites. So they just get adjusted to, So I think that's a big key. But again, gosh, what a great this for the regionals. This is really, there's not a bad one. Louisville be the only iffy one.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things would have to go against Creighton for them to not either end up in Kansas City or Des Moines. I think there's a pretty solid bet that they're going to end up at one of those sites if they make the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, hey, the four regionals, Kansas City, New York, Louisville, and then Vegas. Vegas would be okay.
Yeah.
Always cheap flights to Vegas. Everybody can go. Plenty of places to stay.
Yeah.
That's not going to ever be an issue. So that would be awesome as well. So Final Four going to Vegas in a few years, that would be nuts.
Yeah, I saw that. It's because they were talking about like first time sites for the Final Four, and they were talking about Vegas. That's going to be crazy.
So what do you think? Like, what's kind of your key to the game here?
Key to the game. I mean, I think it's establishing size and not getting beat by guys that are smaller and quicker than you, and also kind of contain Marcus Carr. You can have Mac has always kind of played the let the one guy try to beat you and take away the other tools. So if you can kind of contain Marcus Carr, I think they have a decent shot at leaving with a victory. Get Caulk established early. Which have you heard any updates? How's he feeling? Ankle.
No, I haven't. I think the ankle's fine. I mean, he showed that against Arizona. Played pretty hard all the way through the end of the. Yeah. I'm just looking at Texas. Texas shooting 30% from three, 50% overall. They're holding opponents to 35% from the field, 25% from three. They're only making about 2/3 of their free throws. Rebounds per game, considering the schedule they've played, they only have a 3 rebound a game average, which really kind of surprises me.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Wow, their assists they've got 15 assists, averaging 15 assists a game. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Turnovers a game, 13. They're forcing 21 turnovers, almost 21 turnovers a game on their opponent.
That is a lot.
Now, granted, they played UTEP, Houston Christian, which used to be Houston Baptist, by the way, if you're
okay.
They changed their name. Northern Arizona and Texas Rio Grande Valley, who's usually not a bad team. They blew them out, however.
And then Gonzaga
steals, they're averaging 10 steals a game.
Yeah. Well, Marcus Carr alone is averaging almost 5 assists a game, isn't he?
Yes. Marcus Carr's had 19 assists in 5 games? Yes, that's 4 assists a game. Yeah. Steals, he's got 12 steals.
Yeah.
So now there's a good, I think R2 takes care of the ball pretty well.
I was about to say, take care of the ball.
I think he's a guy that can take care of the ball pretty well. So I'm not particularly worried about that one. I think it comes down to, how well Kaluma plays. I think he's a big key here.
Yeah, he will be.
And
can we take advantage? Season, I think.
And can we take advantage interior-wise with Kalkbrenner?
Yep.
I
think stay out of foul trouble.
He never got too many post touches in Maui, really.
Yeah, he did.
He never got a lot of chances down there. So it'll be interesting. By the way, I took another look at that replay of that Arizona game. People were talking about that last shot, and the play was set up for Kalkbrenner.
Yep.
I ran into Mac later on that night and talked to him a little bit about it. If you watch the replay, Ballo did come out.
Yeah, he did a hard closeout. Yeah, he jumped.
Right, and Kalk easily got around him, but the problem is Kalk dribbled inside the three-point line.
Yeah.
Had Kalk taken a sidestep, then he still could have popped the three.
Yeah, and that's a familiarity thing as well, when you have a guy who has had a decent stroke, but he's not so used to shooting that many of them a game. He's never looking for that first. And if he had been, maybe he thinks, all right, I got my guy flying by me, sidestep three, but that's just not a situation he's in very often.
And what do guards do? What do we always complain about guards stepping out of bounds, right?
Yeah.
So what do guards do there? Take one dribble and then take that hop step back.
Yeah.
And shoot that three.
Yep.
But if we can continue to get the production from Schreierman, who see how they've gone size-wise here. So we got Marcus Carr. He's 6'3", very quick.
Yep.
We already mentioned Dylan Mitchell, who's a 6'8" center. Dylan Disu, I believe his house. He's 6'9", so he's a power forward. So there again, we get one of those bigger power forward guys. Although they're kind of interchangeable.
Yeah. 6'8", 6'9". That doesn't scare me as much as
Mitchell.
6'11", 7 foot.
Rice is 6'4" guard, but he's really long. So we got another guy there that's probably
sounds like comparable in composition.
Yeah, I mean
Trey Alexander.
Yeah, and you've got two smaller. They've got a smaller guard too. Tyrese Hunter is only 6 feet, so
yep.
They go with two smaller guards. So on the defensive end, we can go Trey on Marcus Carr, which will be a really good, I think, a good matchup for us.
Yes, agreed.
And R2 on Hunter, which is, similar build and size, so forth. So I think that's a good matchup. So I like the way we kind of match up. I mean, it's like I said earlier, much better matchup for us than, say, Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have a big point guard that can guard her.
Do their bigs shoot from outside?
I haven't watched enough of them to see. Let's see. Well, we can just take a look at their 3-point outage. Yeah, they do. I mean, they're not like Hunter and Carr jacked up 53 apiece, but they're all in the 30s except for Dylan Mitchell is at 24, but they're all in the 30s as far as 3-point shots. So Rice is shooting 52%, but he's 6'4". He's like more of a guard. Well, Disu, Disu's 21 to 31. So yeah, and Mitchell's 70% from 3. Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong stats. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Medication. Sorry.
Yeah. Those like sinus meds will get you.
I was thinking 106 threes. What? No. Okay. No, this is more like it. No, they don't shoot any threes. Mitchell shot none. Disu shot 8. Rice is only 6 of 16. Yeah, but like it said, they obviously shoot the ball fairly close to the basket because they have pretty good percentages, like it's telling Mitchell and no, it's all Hunter's shooting 39% and Carr's shooting 36%, and that's I think the thing that I've been surprised when I've watched Carr Texas versus Minnesota. Carr Minnesota was a really good 3-point shooter. He's not shot the ball as well from 3 since he's been at Texas. So anyway, so the big game, and remember it's at 6 o'clock. I was thinking the game was at 7, but it's 6 o'clock on ESPN Thursday night. Dave Pasch, who used to, Bill Walton fame, in Pasch used to do the West Coast games, and Fran Fraschilla, good friend, a Bluejay Banter friend. He's been on Bluejay Banter several times. Will join us. We'll have play-by-play and the call at the new arena in in Austin, and our pal Ross Ferrarino will be there, so we'll get some reports from him. And remember, this is our first instant reaction show, and kind of the way when we designed the show, the way we wanted it to be. And this is the first time it's really worked out. So when we say instant reaction, we're talking instant reaction. So the second the horn hits 3 zeros and the game is over, immediately come to the YouTube channel for instant reaction, because we will be jumping on immediately after the game.
Yep.
We'll be taking, you can join us here. As we said, send bjbinstantreaction@gmail.com. Just send us an email. We'll shoot you out the link. You can join in as we've had over the past few shows. We have callers joining us. So please do. You can leave comments on the bottom. If you don't feel like calling, leave comments or questions. We'll answer them. But definitely jump right on after the game. Hit that subscribe button on Instant Reaction and join us. So I would say about 8:01.
Yep.
Unless we have an overtime. 8:01 on Thursday night. Jump right on here, and we will be here to break down the game. If you haven't joined the show before, it's very similar to our radio show that we invented, the Bluejay postgame show. unsung hero, worst call of the night. We have Coach's Corner. We'll have a coach on Thursday night who will join us live, just as tonight Coach Booth did. And then we at the end, we usually show the game highlights and run through the game and kind of break down the plays that changed the game.
Yes, we will.
So thank you, Zach. One thing, big thanks to Coach Booth.
Yep.
Thanks to Equitable Bank, We Take Gang personally, and West Pacific Dental Group, and obviously to Infusion Brewing and the Squatchco. Now, just think if Botchko had come to Creighton, could have easily changed this to Botchko and put his face right here.
That's a huge NIL deal right there.
That dude,
as long as he's of age,
he's a bigger, better shooter, Martin Crampton.
Yeah, agreed. Martin's the guy that exceeded expectations too.
Last year, he was nothing to brag about. He's really improved. So they're gonna cause some problems in the Big 12. I don't know if they're gonna be able to score enough though. That's what kind of held them back in our game. They went through a few droughts in our game. But God, yeah, we played against a lot of guys that stepped out. Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, that's why that was my question about Texas was, if their bigs aren't shooting a lot of threes, then I think that puts Creighton in a really good position if Colt can just kind of, patrol the basket, get some block shots, and
you know what's happened. You mentioned Mac, always saying, "Hey, we're gonna take this guy away and let the other guys beat us."
Yep.
What always happens? Their big guy who hasn't made a shot all year
makes 6 threes.
Like 3 in a row.
Yeah,
always happens.
Shades of Colorado State last year. That did not feel great.
No, exactly. All right. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Coach Booth. She was terrific as always.
Yep.
Tons of Blue Jay stuff this weekend. You got the men Thursday. Women kick off the regional Friday. I believe I was going to ask Coach Booth, but I think it's nearly sold out. So you can check the ticket office tomorrow morning, see if there's any tickets left for Friday. And then Saturday, we got obviously the men's soccer. And then don't forget, we have a little game Sunday too.
That we do.
Just a little game.
Yeah, just a tune-up for Las Vegas.
Just a game that we don't take very lightly around here. So looking forward to that. We'll have a lot of coverage of that after the game Thursday night.
Yep.
So thanks a lot. We will see you on Thursday, and go Jays.